We're recording. All right, good. Well, hey, we're here, man. I love seeing you guys again. This is the second week, right? There's only 4 weeks to this thing. And so we get 4 weeks to just kind of hang out and do that. I see you guys are filling out your BATs. We just posted something in the basics page called the Power of Three, okay? And to me, it's a more simplified business activity tracker that really just kind of narrows it down and says, look, do this 3 times a day, do this 3 times a day, do this 3 times a day. And if you just fit it into a power hour, okay, what we call like a power hour. So what a power hour is just basically saying, okay, I'm going to take 1 hour a day and make sure I do these things, right? And I just knock them off my list. All right. So if you're wondering how you can, take this business and fit it into a part-time basis and still have the fulfillment of connecting with people, I think we have to keep in mind that the majority of us, in fact, last night, Carl Deichler, hopefully you guys know who Uncle Carl, I call him Uncle Carl. But he's more than the president and CEO of this company to me. I mean, he's actually, he's a personal friend of mine, over 7 years of being part of this company and this network. But he messaged me last night back and forth. We talked for maybe like 30 minutes through Facebook Messenger. And really his point was, we can't lose focus on the fact that why we're in this is to help people, and I find myself sometimes, it's easy to get caught up in ranks. It's easy to get caught up in points. It's easy to get caught up in thinking that you've got to help a certain type of people if you want to build a business, right? And our network now is about 95% women. So as a man, I'm going, okay, what the heck's going on here, right? Obviously, all of you are women, but I can only tell you that when I first started, and Bree Hale, who's on this call, she knows this because she's from my hometown. She's known me since she was a little girl. My focus was really on helping people lose weight because I had lost a lot of weight. And I was just on a mission to just help a lot of fat people who didn't want to be fat anymore, and that's how our whole team came about, really, was that I wanted to help people locally in my hometown, right? And I wanted to help people who needed help with weight, who I knew what it felt like to be obese and to have that struggle and to feel shitty about your closet and get mad at your clothes. And I knew what it felt like to sit on a couch with a pillow over your stomach so nobody could see the bulge, right? And and some of you can connect with what I'm saying. And last night in Carl's messages, and I'm sharing this with you, and there's going to be a point with this, but last night in Carl's messages, he said to me, Tommy, dude, just go out there and help a bunch of fat people not be so fat. That's all you got to do, right? Like, don't lose sight of the fact that really what this takes is one-on-one connection with people, And so the reality is this: I don't know who you want to help, okay? But I want you to clearly kind of identify who is it that you want to help. See, I think that we all say, oh, we'd like to help people, right? But like, who specifically are you wanting to help? What do they look like? What are the reasons you want to help those people? Okay. And then get really good at learning to connect with them in a one-on-one format, right? And that's really what we're going to cover today. Now, we can give you things like this Power of Three tracker. Hopefully you guys open that up. I would use that, honestly. It's kind of a new thing. One of the network leaders, it's not a Tommy thing. I didn't create it. Someone else created it, okay? But I think it's really good. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to wait. These people, we need to simplify it even more for them. So I would take that Power of Three, and I would use that. Honestly, if I'm you, I'm just getting started in the game. Focus on that. But in that Power of Three, it says I need to form, 3 people, 3 people a day on my Facebook, and all of those things. And so you're going to hear a lot of words when you're part of this team and part of this network. You're going to hear things about forming people. You're going to hear things about, 5-stepping people. Okay. And I don't want that to be Greek language to you. Does that make sense? When I first started as a coach, I thought I was good with people, right? But the reality was I probably scared way more people away from this than if I would have done it this way. Does that make sense? I really did. I mean, I was just, I spent more time talking than I did listening. I was a good talker. Does that make sense? But the reality is we really want to write this down. Here's the two things that you need to, the three things that I think that really, if you want to sharpen your people skills, okay, and understand something, we are in a business of people, right? Our mission is to help people. Does that make sense? Without people, we don't have challengers. Without people, we don't have a team. Without people, we don't have commission. Without people, we don't make team bonuses. Does that make sense? We don't earn ranks. And so the better that we get at connecting with people, okay, first thing is to clearly identify who you're trying to help and why you're wanting to help them. What is the sincere purpose behind you thinking that this is good for those people, right? In my situation, it was obese people and local people. I wanted to help local people. So, you know, it could be an age specific thing, right? You know, it could be, you know, I want to help other girls in their 20s, or I want to help the, you know, the baby boomer crowd, or, you know, it could be that. It could be, you know, I want to help women. I want to help men. It could be, I want to help other moms, right? If you're a mom, okay? But clearly identifying who your target market is. And then going to help the people that are in that target market unapologetically. Does that make sense? Like, don't think you got to be outside of that. Like, whatever your heart is drawn to helping, go help those people, because you can reach a people that maybe I can't reach. Okay. So that's the first thing is just identifying them, right? Who is it that you're trying to help? What are the sincere reasons why you're trying to help them? Okay. And then just learning some people skills that we're going to cover tonight. I'm actually going to pick some of you. We're going to role play it, and we're going to role play good ways and bad ways. So this might be a little longer call. You might actually be here right up until about 9 o'clock, just so you know, Eastern. And so, so we're going to do that because I think, listen, I've helped, I can't tell you, thousands of new coaches get started. I was a new coach. I know how I was for the first couple of years that I did this. And I got to tell you that if you just learn these simple things that we're going to cover tonight, and you're not going to master them right away, and you're going to find yourself in times when you screw them up, and that's okay, you know. But I think new coaches, where they go wrong is they try to explain way too much about Beachbody and who we are up front, right? They say way too much about it. Does that make sense? Or they say nothing at all about it. Like, they're afraid to connect. Either one, they're really afraid to even ask people, right? That's the first thing. Or the second thing is they're not afraid, but they just vomit their enthusiasm all over people. Does that make sense? Like, when the topic of Beachbody or the topic of 21 Day Fix or the topic of Shakeology comes up, it's like you feel like you have to explain everything. So you find yourself over explaining things. And so we're going to show you some ways to connect with people. The first thing that we're going to cover is form. Okay. So this is just really learning. Form is a people skill. And listen, I learned form from Danny Johnson. That's why I have you guys read her book. She covers it in the book. So hopefully you pick that up. But I've attended many of her live events. I've taken hundreds of coaches through her live events. And the first time I heard form, I was like, oh, wow. Okay. That makes sense. Right. And I form people all the time now. I didn't, 4 years ago, I had no idea what form was. I wasn't an expert at it. I didn't teach it to anybody. And so I was just like you, hearing it for the first time, most likely, right? But form is basically when you get in conversations with people, whether it's face-to-face or through social media, right? So we always got to think there's, we connect with people face-to-face, we connect with them through social media. Those are really the two primary ways that we communicate with people, right? Text messaging, whatever. Anytime we interact with other humans, I want you to write this down. These are some just key phrases that stuck with me, and maybe they'll stick with you, is this. Spend more time being interested than you do being interesting. Okay? It's Janelle Summers, she's a 3-time 15-star Diamond coach. She's probably, if not the top earner, one of the top 3 earners in the entire network, right? I heard her say that at an event once. And I got to tell you, when I was first a coach, I was trying to convince everybody else to be interested in Beachbody, when really what I needed to do was slow down and be interested in them. Does that make sense? Okay, so form gives us a way to do that. Form simply means this: family, right? Family, asking questions about their family, who they are, where they're from, are they married, do they have kids, those sorts of things, right? Okay. The O is occupation. Like, so what do you do for a living? You know, asking questions regarding, what do you do? Do you do anything on the side? All of those sorts of things. Okay. R is recreation. Like, what do you do for fun? Okay. And then M is message, right? It is, for me, I look at it like this. In every conversation, I want to learn way more about them than they learn about me. Okay? In the initial conversations, write this down. Never sell Beachbody on the first conversation. The only thing that you are selling is a trusted friendship and relationship with you in the first conversation, right? So how many of us, the first time we've talked to somebody, we're a new coach, like, we start blasting our enthusiasm for fitness and Beachbody all over them. Does that make sense? Right? Okay. Trust me. I've been guilty of it. I've done it over and over again. And I got to tell you, typically that doesn't turn out very well. It just doesn't turn out very well. Once I learned that sometimes it's better to build the relationship, write this down, relationship first, business follows. Okay. We are in a relationship business. All right. So when we put the focus on the relationship and we build trust with people, and the way that we build trust is to take interest in who they are. Right. That's how we build trust. Okay. And you can do it relatively quickly, to be honest with you. I mean, I can within 60 seconds of, if, let's say that, I like to drink sometimes. So if I'm at the bar, how many of you ever went to a bar and had some drinks? And there's other people around, right? And if you're like me, I mean, I'm a social guy, so I'm saying hello to people, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of times I don't want to be in a conversation for 30 minutes. I want to be in it for 60 seconds, 2 minutes, and then have to jet, right? Does that make sense? And so when I jet, though, I want to make sure that we still keep contact. I want to get out of that relationship. How many of you are like, I'm going to get business cards made, and I'm going to hand out my business cards, and that's how I'm going to do the business, right? Does that make sense? The first 2 years I was in this business, I handed out 2,000 business cards and nobody ordered from me. Okay. I quit ordering business cards. I don't even have business cards now. My phone and my Facebook page are my business. Does that make sense? So whenever I meet somebody, I want to build a relationship with them, and then I want to get them onto my Facebook page. I want to add them as a friend on my Facebook. So I'm building people onto my Facebook page. And then over time, they can see what I do with Beachbody through my Facebook page. You guys understand that? Okay. So that, to me, is what message is. My message at the end is always, I'd love to stay connected to you. Are you on Facebook? And as long as you got one of these little handy dandy smartphones, which the majority of Americans have, and the majority of Americans have a Facebook account, some people don't. And if they don't, then I try to figure out another way to stay connected to them. Okay. But I want to get as many people onto my Facebook as possible. All right. So this is how it goes down. And anybody want to volunteer to role play with me? Deborah, you're smiling, so you're the lucky winner. Hi, Deborah.
Yeah. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm doing all right. So let's say that Deborah and I have never met before. Okay. And this could just be on Facebook, or this could just be, this could be face to face. All right. But so this is the way that I handle all initial conversations, is with form. And it could be through Facebook messages, or it could be through face-to-face interaction. All right. So let's just say that we're at some kind of like one of our mutual friends has like a cookout or something, and we're all hanging out at the cookout. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. And okay. I say that a lot. Does that make sense? I always ask that. So let's say that, we're both kind of standing there at the food table or whatever. And I don't know her from anybody. I want you guys to practice a smile. Everybody smile. Look at that, right? Your smile is one of the most attractive things in the world.
And people don't do it enough.
And people don't do it enough. So when I smile, I happen to be a smiler, and it builds immediate trust. It just does. When you smile at somebody, say hello, it builds trust. So Deborah's going to be standing there. I'm going to be there with my wife and my little girl. So this is how this would go down. So All right, we're gonna role play this. So put yourself in that situation. All right.
Okay.
So, hey, how you doing? I'm Tommy. What's your name?
I'm Deb.
Oh my
Nice to meet you,
God.
Tommy.
Where are you from? Are you from around here?
I'm from Columbus, Ohio.
You're from Columbus, Ohio. Really? How long have you lived in Columbus?
Most of my life.
Most of your life. What do you like about living in Columbus?
The snow, believe it or not.
Do you? Oh my
I
God.
love the snow.
So why snow?
I would
Why do you
hate
like
living in Florida. Ugh, humidity? No thanks.
snow? Yeah,
I'll
no,
take the
I
snow
don't blame you.
over a hot, muggy day. Yeah.
Right. So you like the snow? I mean, is it because you have fun in the snow? Like, do you do snow
Yeah.
sports?
Yeah, building snowmen. I don't mind shoveling, but,
Right.
there's better things to do, but it's a workout, right?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. So do you like to work out?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So
Hold on, can I ask you a question before we move forward? Am I supposed to be the person that doesn't work out? Like, is this me before I did Beachbody?
whatever, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Just be
All right.
you.
Sorry. Okay.
Just be you. But here's the thing. Most coaches, when she says she likes to work out,
Know that that's not
hammering
true.
the beach body. You're gonna start vomiting beach body, right? You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, she works out. I got to get her on beach body. Does that make sense? Right? I still want to get to know more about her. When I'm basically just kind of interviewing her on life, and I'm trying to get to know her. One, to see if she's even somebody that I want to be connected to, that I might be able to help some way down the road, or that I might want on my team down the road. Maybe she's not. You know what I mean? I'm looking for her strengths. Write this down. SIGN, S-I-G-N. Strengths, interests, goals, and needs. So that when I'm asking questions, I'm looking for those things. I can already tell she's a smiler. I can already tell she likes to laugh. Right?
Yeah.
I could tell that she's committed to Columbus, Ohio. So I know she's somebody that's not afraid to commit. You know what I mean? Like, she's from there. She unapologetically lives there, even with the snow. She loves the snow. Okay. So cool. So how did you end up at this party?
Sarah invited me from work.
Okay. So how do you know Sarah? Where do you guys work at?
We used to work at a fertility clinic together.
Oh my God. How did you end up working at a fertility clinic?
Well, I went to college for biology and chemistry. And then after college, I got a job there and
Okay. So
did my thing.
So what made you interested in biology and chemistry and science and all that stuff?
I was just really good at it.
You were good at it? Okay. So you
Yeah.
like to be good at things?
Yes. Who doesn't, right?
Right. That's cool. So, well, hey, Deborah, I wish I had a little bit more time, but I got to get back over here to my wife and my kid. Hey, are you on Facebook?
Yes, I am.
Cool. Do you mind if I just add you as a friend on there?
Sure, that'd be great.
Cool. All right. That's it. Simple, right? Deborah, let me ask you a question. How much do you know about me?
Not a damn thing, except you have a wife and a child.
And that's because they're there with me.
Right.
I use them as my help, right? But what do I do for a living?
I have no idea.
What
Because
do
I
do
didn't
for-
ask.
What do I do for workouts?
Not shovel snow.
No.
Just by the look on your face.
Where do I live? But the point is this, okay?
Right.
The old Tommy, before I learned how to form, I would have sat there and told her everything about me, okay? 98% of people, their favorite topic is themselves. So if we give people the opportunity to talk about themselves, they're going to like us. Because the majority of people trying to talk to them don't give them the opportunity to do that. You guys understand that, right? So I do that with everything. So even on Facebook, even with an old friend, like, so some of you might have these old friends from high school that maybe you haven't talked to for 10 years or 20 years or something like that, right? And you're like, I want to message them, but I don't want to like just bombard them with Beachbody, right? It's a little awkward to just reach out to somebody and say, hey, buy my crap, right? So my suggestion is never sell on the first conversation. All you want to do is check in, catch up with them. What are they doing now? Where are they living now? How's life been, right? Does that make sense? And just reestablish relationship with them. All right, reestablish relationship with them. So that would be my biggest advice to all of you. as far as that goes, okay? Because what you want to do is just kind of get them re-interested in being friends with you again. Because I promise you that, how many of you have had somebody message you, and what's one of the first things that you do if they message you on Facebook? Do you go to their Facebook and check them out and see what they've been up to? How many of you have Beachbody stuff on your Facebook? Right? Okay, does that make sense? So you don't have to bombard them with Beachbody to get them to come and check you out. If you're doing your Facebook right and you're talking about that kind of stuff and you have pictures of that kind of stuff, eventually though, they're going to check it out if you just go have a conversation with them. And then that might open up the conversation about Beachbody and what you're doing with that. And when that conversation does open up, time out. Let's rewind. Let's go do form the wrong way. Deborah, I'm going to unmute you again.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So here's the wrong way. Let's just do this. So same situation. We're at the cookout. We're standing at the food table, right? And it's and I say hello again. So, hey, how you doing? I'm Tommy. What's your name?
Deb. Hi, Tommy.
Deb. Yeah, it's nice to meet you. Hey, I'm just here with my wife and my baby and all that stuff. And I would be like eating all of this crap food, but honestly, like I don't eat crap anymore. That's why I lost 100 pounds. Have you ever heard of P90X?
No.
No, you've never heard of P90X? Well, anyway, I did this program P90X and I lost like 110 pounds with it. And then I won $50,000 in this thing called the Beachbody Challenge. And my wife and I, we're coaches now and we do that. And that's why I'm drinking my water instead of the beer and doing all that kind of stuff. So have you ever done any kind of home workout before, or what do you do for working out?
Nothing.
Nothing? You don't know? Nothing at all? How long has it been since you worked out?
I don't know. I mean, I tried using the gym. It didn't work for me. So, if I'm going to be fat, I'm going to be fat.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's why like we get a lot of people doing this thing called the 21-day fix, which, judging by the amount of food that's on your plate, you might be able to use it because.
I'm sorry. Oh, Lord.
Because it's like this portion control thing. And it comes with these containers, and you can put your food in these little containers. And actually, my wife has the containers over here. I should just go get them real quick and show you. Is that cool?
No, it's kind of offensive.
Okay. So how are you feeling about me right now?
Like you're kind of railroading me. Okay.
I'm railroading you, right? I haven't given you an opportunity to say too much. I didn't ask you a single question, right? Does that make sense? So am I the kind of guy? So now let's just say I asked you if you were on Facebook, if we could be friends on Facebook.
I'm not really on Facebook much. It's not a good way for us to stay connected.
Exactly, right? So yeah, the point is this. Our goal is to get people to trust us enough to stay connected, because if they're going to sign up with you, they're going to have to trust you. And they don't trust somebody who spends all their time talking about themselves and talking about Beachbody 24/7. Does that make sense? They simply don't trust that person enough, especially a new person that you haven't talked to before. But the other way, when you take interest in them, now she does want to be friends with me because I seem like a good guy. I seem like a legit guy. Does that make sense? And I'm someone she would want to be friends with. And my goal is just to get her in the funnel. My goal is just to, I sincerely want to help people. And I know that if I do it the right way, I'll have a better chance of maybe helping her with something or somebody she knows. Maybe she'll refer people. So anyway, Deborah, thank you for that. Okay. So write this down. The person asking questions wins. The person explaining loses. Okay. The person asking questions wins. The person explaining loses. Okay. Anytime that I find myself explaining too much, I give myself two simple options. Okay? Because you're going to find yourself explaining too much. Whether it's in conversation that doesn't involve Beachbody and you're explaining too much about yourself or Beachbody stuff, or whether it is a conversation about Beachbody and you find yourself over-explaining who we are and what we do and what we use, and you find yourself in explanation mode. And we're going to teach you the 5 steps right now. But in either of those situations, when you're saying too much and explaining too much, you're going to lead yourself down a path that runs into a brick wall. And how many of you don't like to smack your face into brick walls? I mean, it's just not fun, right? So my two options whenever I'm explaining too much is this. One is to ask a question, shut up and listen. Okay, it's pretty simple. Ask a question, shut up and listen. Or two, get out of the conversation and either keep them connected to me or plug them into a resource that explains things, like our website, like a video. Okay, and that's what we're going to do with the 5 steps right now. So the 5 steps is really just kind of, it's a guide for you to use. So in the past, you know, when I first started as a coach, we didn't have any, you know, I would have new coach all the time say, I don't know what to say. What do I say? And then they either said nothing or they said too much, right? So over time, we got smart. And actually I created this thing called the 5-step process that we gave. Our team created it and we tested it and we started using it and it worked. And we're like, hey, this is awesome. And we gave it to the network and Uncle Carl loved it and his team of people loved it. And now the whole network has learned it and they use it and they use form and they use the 5 steps, right? So the 5-step process is just a step-by-step guide of how to streamline the conversation once it goes towards Beachbody. Okay? So it's a guide for you to do that. And there's 2 things. Either you've initially approached a person about Beachbody or they've come to you to ask you questions. They saw your before and after picture on Facebook or they see you at the mall and they're like, oh my God, you look great. You know, I saw that you're doing this Beachbody stuff. What is it? Right? So a lot of times you'll get a question like, what is it? Or how much does it cost? Right? How many of you like you get in the conversation about Beachbody and they say, well, how much does it cost? Like the first thing. And you're like, oh shit, oh crap. Oh, sorry. I didn't see the little man. You know, you're like, oh crap. And you find yourself explaining the price and over explaining the products. So we're going to give you a guideline on how not to do that. Hi, buddy. Hi, little girl. All right. I love it. I love the kids. I love that we work from home and we can have our families around this. You know what I'm saying?
He just likes to see his face on the screen. So
kids love this. My little girl, she'll sit here all day and Zoom with the kids, you know? So the 5 steps are this, okay? Write this down. In the initial invite or the initial conversation, however that arises, okay, which typically for me, it's either I've posted something on Facebook and people have replied to me. Does that make sense? I've openly promoted an upcoming group or something like that, and people are showing interest and expressing interest. That's the initial invite. Or I've directly invited them. I've sent out an invitation saying, hey, Joe, it was great to catch up with you a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you're interested or not, but I'm starting this group. Is that something you might be interested in talking about, right? I might send that invite, bam, out to them, okay? Or people just have seen my story, whether, however, and they're like, and they're asking me about it because they come to me and say, hey, I've been feeling like crap. Like, what have you been doing, right? And so people will say, what have you been doing, okay? That's the initial invite. The second thing is this, is interviewing, asking questions, interviewing. Again, so what we want to do with every conversation is instead of explaining, we want to start asking questions, okay? The third step is connecting them to a resource that explains more. Then the fourth step is giving them the deal. And then the fifth step is enroll, giving them the deal and asking them to join. You got to ask for them to enroll. Okay, a lot of coaches will lose the enrollment because you're afraid to actually ask them if they're ready or not. Okay, and then step 5 is actually enrolling them. Okay, so in step 1, I want you to write this down. Okay, it depends. I want you to write this down. This is my key to go from step 1 to step 2, and then we're going to demonstrate it. My key phrase is always, that depends. Why don't I ask you a few questions and we can go from there? So that's kind of my setup to get people into step 2. In step 2, when I'm talking to them about starting as challengers, and right now you guys really should be focused on at the beginning as coaches, just getting people started on fitness programs, getting them into a challenge pack, getting that side going. getting other people interested in Beachbody along with you. Does that make sense? And so I asked them questions around the 3 pillars of success, what I call the 3 pillars of success: fitness, nutrition, and support. Okay, fitness, nutrition, support. And then I connect them to a couple of videos. The videos that I connect them to are, have you ever felt like this? And if I'm going too fast, and there should be documents that detail this in the Coach Basics page. So, you know, if you're missing something, you can ask after this. There's also the 5-step videos in the Coach Training Academy. You can go back and refer to those. This call is going to be recorded. You can rewatch it and take notes as well. But I'm going to ask them those questions, and then I'm going to connect them to a video. And let the video explain challenge groups. Let the video explain the programs. Okay? I don't want to explain the programs. I know about the programs. I've been doing this for 7 years. I virtually have done probably every program in our catalog, right? And I've helped people get into every program in the catalog. But I don't want to be the guy explaining the whole deal. I just want to ask questions, see where they're at, try to figure out what's best for them, and then guide them to these videos. I show them, have you ever felt like this, customer success stories, and then I might show them, like if it's 21-day fix or T25 or whatever, I'll show them the video that's specific for that fitness program, okay? And then step 4, give them the deal, is when I detail what they're gonna get, how much it's gonna cost. I don't wanna give them the price until we get to step 4. I wanna get them through the other 3 steps first, okay? Where you can derail, and where new coaches often derail, is this. They try to give the deal up front. So immediately when that person says, well, what is it? They go into the deal. They go into step 4 right away. And oftentimes, 98% of the time, that person does not enroll. All right? Versus slowing down, asking questions, showing a video. That's gonna increase your chance of success. You know, it's going to double your chance of success. I mean, you'll go from 1 in 10 to 3 in 10. Okay. How many of you would like to have 3 in 10 instead of 1 in 10? Okay. So this is the way that I suggest you do it. This is the way I do it. It's the way I've taught our whole team to do it, is with the 5-step process. But where you can go wrong is when someone says up front, well, what is it? And you start to explain what it is. Instead of saying, anytime they say, what is it? All I do is I give them a very simple answer and then say, why don't I ask a few questions and go from there? Okay. So if they say, what is it? I say, oh, it's just, you know, it's a fitness and nutritional plan that we do. And that's how I've lost, 100 pounds. I mean, why don't I just ask you a few questions and we can go from there? That's how I handle that. I don't explain too much. Basic information up front. Okay. If they say, how much is it? How many of you have gotten that? Right? Well, how much is it? And then you're like, oh, it's only a couple $100 to get started. It's $160 to get started. And then, and you start explaining the cost of it. My answer is always, that depends. Why don't I ask a few questions? It depends on how you enroll. Why don't I ask a few questions and we can go from there? Sound good? I just want to get them in the conversation. I want to funnel them through these 5 steps, okay? So we're going to demonstrate this the right way and the wrong way. Who wants to volunteer for this one? Come on, peoples. All right. Your name's Lori, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Are you John's mother? Is John your son?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you have a son that was like a world champion, like shot put thrower, right?
Yep. Yep.
He's awesome, man. I love that guy, him and his wife. So, and I'm proud of you for the inches that you've lost recently, and for sharing that story with the team in the Swarm Cave. That was awesome.
Thank you.
High five on that. You're rocking it, Mama. I love it. So
Trying.
okay, so let's just say that Lori. Okay, Lori's someone that knows me from town, right? And she's seen that I've helped some people lose some weight, and she's seen that I've lost. Let's say that I made a post about the fact that my mom lost weight, because I don't just share your story. Learn to share the stories of other people who are succeeding. Like I might take Lori's story and say, hey, here's Lori, blah blah blah. She did this. She's lost these many. She's so excited. She's finally getting herself, in the shape that she likes. And, I share my mom's story all the time. So, and I'll say, hey, my mom struggled with weight for many years, and I'll put her story up. And I might, get Lori to reply to that and ask me, so what was your mom doing? Can you tell me about it? Okay. So let's just say that I openly promote that on Facebook and Lori replies. Okay. And Lori sends me a private message. A lot of times that's how it happens. I'm going to 5-step Lori, but I'm going to do it verbally. All right. You can do this through messaging. You can do this verbally. My suggestion is if you're comfortable on the phone, get them on the phone, do it on the phone. It flows. I do it a lot just through Facebook messages too. So Lori, send me a message and say, hey, I saw that post about your mom and I'm a little bit interested. Can you tell me what it is?
Hey, Tommy, I saw the post about your mom. I'm really interested. How did she accomplish her goals?
Oh my gosh, Lori, that's so awesome. Well, she just did, one of our fitness and nutritional programs that we do. Why don't I just ask you a few questions? We can go from there. So what has you interested?
Well, I'd like to get into some decent shape.
Okay. Okay. Well, are you trying to like lose weight, gain weight, tone up?
Oh, lose weight.
Okay, so you're
People
trying.
that need to gain weight, I'd like to kiss them with the tongue.
So how long have you been wanting to lose some weight?
I'm 53, 52 years.
Okay. Baby, I love it. So have you tried losing weight before?
Yes.
Okay. What else have you tried?
I've tried Weight Watchers. I've tried Jen Craig. Nothing works.
Okay. And so what was it about those things that wasn't quite working for you?
Well, the minute I went off them, I gained all the weight back.
Okay. So in the past, you've actually lost some weight and then gained it back.
Yeah.
So typically, like how much weight were you losing?
The most I ever lost was 30 pounds.
Okay.
And it was great while I was eating the packaged meals, but the minute I went off it,
Right.
it came back.
Okay. Did any of those plans incorporate exercise, or were you doing something for exercise fitness along with it?
Nope.
No. Is exercise or fitness something that you've done in the past or that you're interested in potentially adding?
Yeah, I like to walk, but
Okay.
that's really it.
Okay. Great. So let's just talk about nutrition a minute. So typically, like, what's an average week of eating like for you? An average day of eating for you? Do you eat breakfast? Are you going out to eat?
I eat breakfast. I eat lunch at home. Dinner, we usually go out.
Okay.
Me and my husband.
Okay. So you're eating lunch at home, and then when you and your husband go out to eat, typically, how much are you spending on dinner?
Oh, it's easily $50.
Okay.
$60.
And that's like every night of the week, or a couple
At least 4 nights.
Okay, so like 4 nights a week you're going out. Are you eating snacks in between your meals, or just the 3 meals a day?
Oh no, they're snacking.
They're
I grade.
I love your honesty, so thank you for that. So workout wise, I mean, if you were gonna do any workouts, I mean, would you be willing to do some workouts if they were light and maybe like 30 minutes or less?
I'd be willing to try anything once.
Okay, that's great. Because we do have some programs that we can offer that are like 30 minutes or less, 5 days a week, and you can modify them and make them less intense and those things just to get you moving and sweating. Have you ever been like coached through a program? Have you ever had any kind of support?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. Do you think like having a coach or having a group of people to support you through that would help you?
Yeah, because you got to be honest with them.
Okay. Yeah, for
They
sure.
ask you questions, you have to be honest.
Right, which is awesome. So, well, Lori, just in talking to you, again, I don't know if this is for you. Write this down. I always disarm. This is called disarming. I always say, I don't know, maybe this is for you or maybe not. Okay? I'll say that a lot of times, a couple times in a conversation. Hey, maybe it's for you, maybe not. That disarms the situation, which means, hey, look, if you check this out and you think this is something that you'd like, then great. And if not, no big deal. I'm still going to love you, And so that gets people to take a non-pressured look at what we have to offer. And a lot of times they'll enroll faster because you took the pressure off. Okay. It's a technique called disarming. So now what I want to do though, is I want to set Lori up for step 3, right? I just did step 2. Okay. Now I want to set her up for step 3. And step 3, how I set her up for step 3 is I need to get her to the information, and I need her to look at the information as immediately as possible. So I need to schedule her time to watch the videos, okay? And I also need to schedule the follow-up appointment, step 4, all right? So, so Lori, hey, just in talking to you, first, maybe this is for you, maybe not, but from everything that you're telling me, this might be something that could benefit you greatly. But just to make absolutely certain, why don't I just send you a few videos that explain a little bit more? You can check those out and we can go from there. Sound good?
Okay.
Okay, cool. If I sent you a couple of videos, like they're like, 2, 3, 4 minutes long, would you have 10, 15 minutes to watch some of those videos right now?
Right now, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm very busy.
Okay, I gotcha. So when would be the important thing is that I get you to watch them within the next 24 hours. When in the next 24 hours would you be able to watch them? Maybe later tonight or tomorrow morning?
I'll try to watch it tomorrow.
Okay, you'll try to watch it tomorrow. What time are you going to try to watch it tomorrow?
By 9 o'clock.
Okay, by 9 o'clock. Okay, so listen. How many of you're like maybe you sent out a video and they're like, oh, okay, I'll try to get to it, and you don't get them nailed down to a time. The reason I want to nail her down to a specific, I want to set the appointment for her to watch the videos. And we got to get really good at setting the expectation of what needs to be done by when, okay? Does that make sense? So I gave her a 24-hour window for 15 minutes of time. Does that make sense? She chose tomorrow morning by 9 o'clock, which means if I follow up with her tomorrow after 9 o'clock, I have a reason to follow up with her. It leaves me with a reason to follow up with her, right? So I'll say, well, Lori, that's awesome. So you'll watch them tomorrow by 9 in the morning or 9 at night?
A.M.
9 a.m. Okay, so if I send you these videos now and follow up with you sometime tomorrow after 9 a.m., we should be okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's it. So, Lori, let me ask you a question. How did you feel about that?
That was good.
Okay.
I could see that.
All right. How much did you learn about the program's products?
Not too much.
Challenge groups?
No.
Not a lot, right? I didn't say a lot. I said a little bit.
No.
I said a little bit. I did say a little bit. I said we've got some program. I was trying to take the pressure off her by saying, hey, we got some programs. If you're into that, you should check it out. They're 30 minutes or less, right? But I'm going to send her these videos. I already know she wants to lose weight. I already know she's done some other things. I already know that she's agreed that, her nutrition can improve. The reason I ask her how much she spends when she goes out to eat is money, right? We know that money is an objection. So I ask about what typically she spends on food every day or going out to eat. If she says, oh, I go out to lunch every day, I'll say, how much do you usually spend on your lunch? Right? And they'll say $10. And I'll say, okay, cool. We might have a way for you to get healthier and save money in the process. That way, when we talk about Shakeology, it's not a cost in addition to, it's a cost in replacement of. If she's getting healthier, she's not going out to eat as often. If she's getting healthier, she's not stopping at Wendy's every day for lunch. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I always ask that, how much do you spend on lunch? How much do you spend on dinner? How much, a day or a week are you spending on going out, stopping at groceries or stopping at the carryout, whatever it is. All right. All right. So she watches the videos and now it's time when I follow up to give her the deal. Okay. So let's just say that in this case, we were talking about the 21-day fix because that's what my mom did. And we're going to get her in a 21-day fix challenge pack. So we follow up the next day, and let's just say I showed her these videos. So ring, ring, I call her back.
Hello.
Hey, is this Lori?
Yes.
Lori, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. So, hey, just wanted to follow up with you and make sure you had a chance to watch those videos. You get a chance to watch those yet?
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool. What did you like about them? Write that down. What did you like about them? That's the question you ask.
Okay. The energy was good, but the 21-day fix thing seemed a little confusing with all those containers.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand that. What seemed confusing about it to you?
Just how to figure out how many you're supposed to eat, what you're supposed to fill it with.
Right. Okay.
It seems like it would take a long time to figure out.
Okay, well, I can appreciate that. Well, listen, I mean, we obviously have several different options. The 21-day fix might be something for you. If not, we can always find another course of action. And I can understand why upfront, when I first started and my mom first started, we were feeling the same way. So here's the thing. She gave me an objection. It seems confusing. That's an objection.
Mhm.
This is how you handle an objection. Validate it and overcome it. Okay? Hey, I can understand why you're confused. In fact, when my mom and I started, we thought it would be really confusing too, but quite honestly, it took us maybe like a day or two to really figure it out. And then it became really, really easy. And it's the best food plan that we've ever done. My mom's still using it. And I'll talk about my mom because that's who she relates to. In fact, my mom's still using it now. She's been doing it for 8 months. And doing it that way. And also, like, let's say that you get it, you do have a 30-day money back guarantee on it. So if you get it and it's not something that you think you really can figure out or do, you're welcome to return it, and maybe we can find another option for you. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, cool. Well, so listen, when I said, does that sound good? That's what I call a closing question. It's a tickler, right? I'm going to ask a question, and I'm going to get her to agree.
Right.
And when she agrees, then I'm going to ask her to enroll. She gave me a green light. Does that make sense? I'm looking for a green light the whole way. She gives me a green light. Then I say, well, great. So is this something that you're ready to get started with right now?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And then I'll enroll her. That's it. So write that down. You got to ask. Once you get the green light and the follow-up, then ask. And then walk her through the enrollment. It's that simple, all right? Everybody understand that? So, and we have 10 minutes, which means that Lori and I have time to do this the wrong way.
Beautiful.
The wrong way is that I'm going to vomit my enthusiasm all over Lori. And I am going to explain everything right up front, including the price, okay? So Lori, same situation. I make a post on Facebook about my mom and how she's used this program, and she's lost 35 pounds in a month and a half. She did 2 rounds of it, right? And you message me. So, and you say, hey, I saw that post about your mom. I'm a little bit interested. Can you tell me more about it? See, here's the thing. Write this down. When they ask that question initially, that's called bait, right? They're setting bait out for you. And you either take the bait or you ignore the bait and you control the conversation. Don't take the bait, okay? So every person on earth is going to give you bait. They're going to say, well, how much is it? They're going to say, tell me more about it. Can you explain it? Don't explain it. If you follow the 5 steps, you're going to have greater success, all right? So Lori says, Lori, send me that message and ask me about it.
Hey, Tommy, I saw the post about your mom. She lost some weight. I'm really interested. How did she do it?
No, that's so awesome. Yeah, in fact, my mom did this program called the 21-day fix, and it comes with all of these little colored containers, and it's like a portion control thing. And you get like 4 yellows and 3 reds and 2 purples every single day, and then I don't know, some greens or something like that. So yeah, she just basically followed that plan, and then she did the workouts. And the workouts can be pretty hard. They're 30 minutes long, and they'll kick your ass in, quite honestly. If you do them hardcore, they're gonna be pretty tough on you. But she did that, and then she joined our challenge group, and in the group, we have a page, and in that group page, like, people post pictures of themselves in bikinis and their before and after pictures, and don't worry, there's not too many guys in there, but there are a few.
Listen, I gotta go. I'm really happy for your mom. That's good.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
How did you feel?
Wow. Overwhelmed.
Yeah. Okay. Once you actually are on the other end of this and you feel how it feels, the 2 different ways, then you understand, oh crap, I can't over explain. Like, when I do that, that's how people react. Like, they get short of breath. Every time you do that, they push further away. They're like, it's like coming at them, and they can't digest it, right? And they go, oh my gosh. So that's why no matter how much you know about it, you don't want to spend a lot of time explaining it. You might want to just say, very simply, oh, my mom did this program. It's a workout nutritional program that we have to offer. Why don't I ask you a few questions and we can go from there? Simple answer, set up step 2. That's it. How many of you can learn to do this, do you think? Yes, it's simple enough that you can learn to do this, okay? Because if you learn to do this, you'll help more people. And if you're helping more people, you're gonna earn more money. So whether you're in this to help people, earn money, build a rank, get recognized, whatever it is, the better you get at the people skills. Because, you know, the thing is, you know, you can go out and find a lot of people, but if you suck with people, you're not going to build a big business. It's a people business, right? So you can go talk to, you know, 20 people a month, this, you know, with the right way, and get 5 or 6 of them to enroll. Or you can go talk to 100 people the wrong way and get 5 to enroll. Does that make sense? So, you know, write this down. What you lack in skill, you have to make up for in numbers. What you lack in skill, you have to make up for in numbers. So if you're going to go out there and vomit enthusiasm, do all the things in the wrong way that make people feel pressured, that make people feel put off, that make people go, oh, right? You're going to have to talk to a lot more people before you find one that says yes. We're trying to give you a faster track to success by showing you just a better way. And you're not going to be perfect at it up front. Just remember these simple rules. If you find yourself explaining, slow down, ask a question, and listen. Or just send them to the video, send them to the website. Say, well, hey, I don't have a lot of time right now to explain it all. Why don't I send you the website? You can check it out. Or why don't I send you the video? You can check it out. Everybody understand that? Now, where I go to find videos, so you have your online office, and in the office they have this video library, and when you go back there, there's like 5,000 videos, and it's hard to find any of the videos that you want, okay? So what we did was we created a Swarm Team YouTube page where all of the favorite videos that we share are on there. There's about 20 videos on there, so you can just scroll through them, get the video link for the YouTube, and send it out to your people. I send that to them through text messages. I send that to them through Facebook messages, okay? And we'll post the link to that YouTube channel in the Rock the Basics, okay? Everybody understand that? So here's what I want you to do, all right? One, like, start forming people, okay? You should form at least 3 people a day, every day this week, whether it's face-to-face or through Facebook messaging, okay? 3 people a day. That's part of your power of 3 that we just posted today, okay? 2 is start 5-stepping people. Get familiar with what we're doing with that. Even if you got to go back and rewatch this video or go in the Coach Training Academy and watch those training videos, okay, to get familiar. Even if you got to sit your spouse down and say, hey, honey, can I practice these 5 steps on you? Right? Right? Maybe you have to do that. You know, call your best friend up and say, hey, can I practice these 5 steps on you? I'm trying to get really good at being a coach and I want to do it the right way. Would you mind if I practiced on you? That's okay. Role play it. That's how you're going to get better. Does that make sense? Everybody understand that? So with that said, man, that's good timing. 8:56. We fit both of those little trainings in 1 hour, right? And you guys got to have an interactive experience. Did you guys get some good notes tonight? At least, like, you know, even if you take a few things every week and you get better at just a couple of things and you do that consistently over time, you're going to get pretty good, okay? And now you'll recognize when you get in the conversation about Beachbody, you'll recognize if you're doing it the right way or the wrong way. And you'll be able to slow yourself down and think yourself through it, okay? So with that said, look, here we are. It's the end of the month. If you're not in Success Club for this month, if you're not to Emerald yet and you're not in Success Club, I know Thanksgiving's coming up, but I would be thinking, like, how can I get there before December 1st? Does that make sense? Before December 1st. Like, don't let November slip by and all of a sudden it's December and you didn't hit any of your goals, okay? Just go make them happen, however you have to do that. You know, with Thanksgiving, it's a creative time for you to get people involved. If you're going to be around family and all that stuff, it's a time and here's what I want you to do when you're at your Thanksgivings with your families is this. I want you to just form people. Take some time to get to know your cousin or your uncle or whoever is in the house, right? Go form your husbands, right? Go form your kids. I use form with everybody. I use it with my football players. I form my football players. And trust me, the guys that I coach now are much better since I started using that skill with them versus before when I was just the guy hooting and hollering at them. Okay. But take time to form the people, because I promise you this, if you take interest in them, they'll take interest in you. That's human nature. All right. But control the conversation. So with that said, go enjoy your Thanksgivings. I don't think there's going to be a Facebook homework assignment on Thanksgiving. If there is, feel free to make it up on Friday. Okay. I'm giving you that day off. But Thanksgiving night and Friday is a great day to promote. Why? People are feeling like crap. They're overstuffed. They're feeling tired. It's a great day to talk about it on your Facebook, So maybe on Friday morning you wake up and talk about how stuffed you are and how you feel like crap and how you can't wait to just get back to eating healthier and drinking your shake. And hey, if anybody else is feeling like crap, we're doing this 21-day thing in between the holidays, all that stuff. All right. So with that said, guys, you guys are free to go. I will see you next Tuesday on the next basics training. Peace out.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Gobble, gobble.